Good evening, everyone. Respected Professor Hemlata Talesra, the leader of this academic group, Professor Glenn Martin, Dr. Narasimha Murthy, and all the eminent scholars of this very vibrant group. I don't call it as a group, but it is a learning community that we discuss about the emerging areas of education, put our ideas, and it is an humble effort to redesign education system, reposition education system towards quality and equity. Friends, in this context, today's panel discussion is a very, very important, not because during the pandemic time, how we rapidly shifted into technology and started practicing digital learning, e-learning. But today, as educators, we need to understand the potential of this technology towards learning, towards human development, and ultimately the education for sustainable development. So friends, when you recall what had happened in 2020, when everything was locked down, social distancing was imposed, and an idea that came in the minds of educators to make use of the potential of technology and reach out to larger number of learners. And this was a very spontaneous response to the crisis that happened. And over a period of time, the educators and the learners and all the stakeholders have realized the potential of technology and started practicing the way they could, come out with multiple alternatives, educational, pedagogical models. And today, after 1.5 years, we are very much confident in terms of reaching out people and continuing their educational pursuits, making use of disruptive technologies. And the credit goes to every teacher of the world. So friends, I have the galaxy of the speakers today with me. The one who spent a lot of her professional life in educating teachers, Professor Saramma Chandy. And the other speaker is the practitioner who is working in the school, understanding the ground realities of how this technology is used, how these blended models are applicable to schools, colleges. Therefore, we have a fine blend of theory and the practice in this panel discussion. I must appreciate the organizers for choosing the wonderful speakers to talk about what blended learning is all about. We have been listening the blended learning, the hybrid learning, e-learning, MOOCs. There are so many nomenclatures that we could hear for the last 1.5 years. But friends, we need to understand and value the understanding conceptual ideas of this blended learning, the hybrid learning, the e-learning, and the digital learning. And then we could see that how these models really enhance ultimately the learning of the students, the learning outcomes of the students. So I reserve my observations and comments till the end of this panel discussion. I would like to pose a few questions to the panelists, to Dr. Saramma Chandy. These words we have been listening over a period of time: blending the learning and offline, online, synchronous, asynchronous learning. What are these terminologies all about? And how these terminologies, pedagogical models, have the educational value to fulfill our educational dreams. Our educational dream is education for all, quality education for all. So how these educational goals can be better met with a high quality of education with the blended learning model? Over to Dr. Saramma Chandy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pushpnadham. Warm greetings and welcome to all. Today, I am extremely happy, and to the organizers for giving me this chance on this academic platform to express my views on this important topic, that is blended learning. Respected Dr. Glenn Martin and all dignitaries of the collaborative organizations with us. Can you see all of you?
Yes.
Yeah. All the dignitaries of the collaborative organizations and all the galaxy of academicians. A warm welcome to everybody. I am here today only because of Madam Hemlata Talesra. She is a great person. She only wants people to excel in their academic field, and I'm sure that in her talk, walk and sleep, she is only thinking about improving the academy, improving the teaching, learning, improving the quality of education. She is the root of this academic tree, a strong root whose branches are growing lengthwise and breadthwise all over the nation, as well as all over the globe. I am extremely happy, and Madam Talesra, kindly accept my gratitude. I am ever grateful to you. You are the one who is encouraging me to take learning as lifelong learning day by day. Now, coming to my duty, that is to discuss on blended learning and ideal strategy for teaching learning. We all know that thousands of schools, lakhs of schools are closed within no time after the pandemic. But be proud, we, the educators and the learners, our children, we are not lagging behind. Let any difficulties come, we cannot stop our education system and we cannot stop our children in their training, because they are the assets of our country. They should become the global citizens in future. So we, the teachers, as Dr. Pushpnadham rightly said now, the teachers immediately found good ways for progressing the system forward, for taking the system forward. I always remember the teachers of 2020 will be remembered in history forever. They accepted such a tremendous immediate change and they got used with technology within no time, but sure that they need improvement. Now coming to the topic. Before we go, I just want to share a thought of a young boy by name Mr. Bar. He is of 22-year-old. I am telling this to give an impression that blended learning is so great with that we can take India to a higher level. Mr. Bar was 22-year-old. He wanted to do medical profession. For that, he has to appear for a psychometric test. He appeared 7 times, all failed. Disappointed, went to the Blended Learning Center. There, he has learned an year by paying only $100, whereas the colleges were taking $2,000. And 8th attempt, he passed. And today, he is a well-known medical practitioner in Israel. This is an example from Israel. And today, not only that gave an initial step for the socio-economically background students of Israel to come forward and join for blended learning. And today, 50% of the people in Israel who are below the socio-economic status, they are doing blended learning and they are succeeding in that field. So, in fact, we can say that blended learning there has become a social revolution. This is only to give the importance of blended learning to all educators so that we can take it forward for our country. Now coming to the topic. Can you all see my slide?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now, what is blended learning? Just now, we heard from Dr. Martin. In his university, they have started already. And 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, students were meeting because the importance of face-to-face learning they know. And just now we heard from Dr. Pushpnadham also the importance of blended learning. From my reading, it is not reading knowledge, I am explaining what is blended learning. It is an approach to education. A traditional face-to-face and high-tech e-learning fusion. It is an advanced variant of learning. Hybrid learning, personalized learning are other terms used, many other terms are used for blended learning. Requires physical presence of teacher as well as the student. Now, how to go ahead in blended learning? Little more about blended learning is face-to-face as well as offline and online learning is taking place. That one we have to discuss that, how it goes ahead. That we will discuss while discussion will be going on. Now, how the steps to ponder. First, we have to see whether our institution has enough technology access. Technology alone is not enough. How we are handling the technology, the efficiency, the competency, and the commitment of the teacher that matters. I still remember when I was a principal, teaching practice students when they went to municipal school, once a sudden quick look, I went around, one of the municipal schools has 20-25 computers on their upper loft of the school, which from government it is supplied, it is not even opened. It was so sad to see that. Now, who is responsible, whom to ask, we have no right, but that is a real experience I'm sharing. Now, design. How? What is your chapter? What is your subject? What is your content? What is your outcome? All these keeping in mind, you have to plan and design. Then safety and security. How safe it is and how secure it is. Here also I want to give an example of, because my grandchildren are there at home, and at home when they are having their Zoom learning in the class, sometimes it is the questions are not seen, sometimes it is not, the connection is also missing, all those things. And security also, hackers are coming in between. All those hacking procedures are also happening. So teachers should be very confident to face such situations. All these things are there as part of this blended learning. Skill development, motivation. Now, skill development, how we will develop, that also we have to discuss towards the end. Now, blended learning models, as they have been given by Dr. Pushpnadham. Rotation model, different types of rotation models. Now, 6 I have pointed out, there are more. And more, you as an educator or as an educator, you can give other models also. There is no hard and fast rule. You have to go according to what is written by the top from the other side. Everybody has the right, as per the situation, looking to the children, looking to the class, looking to the subject and the efficiency. Accordingly, the model can be framed. Flexibility is given to all educators. Rotation model, rotation, station rotation. Some may take some time for offline learning and certain time for online learning. Then lab rotation, they want to change the lab, the computer lab sitting at one time. Later, they may be moving to another computer lab, maybe some reason. Individual rotation based on their needs. What is their need ultimate? Accordingly, the freedom is given to the students and they move. Flex model, that is here, more help will be getting from teachers in flex model. The fluidity from the instructor is much more in flex model. A la carte model, self-blend model, it is also, we can call it as just like the buffet system in hotels. So many things, many model for online, and students will select which is fit for them. That is a la carte model. These are all needs more explanations, not in half an hour or something. Enriched model, that is virtual, lot of informations are given, and it is a virtual, students will select what virtual connection they have to take. Face-to-face driver model and online driver model, that is our blended learning, where just example there can be Zoom or Google Meet or those face-to-face for certain time using technology. Same way, online driver also, the students will select who is their online driver. Just like in Nalanda and Takshashila, we know in ancient times, people coming from international universities to study, they will only say whom I want to be my educator. They select the name of the educator and to whom he will go and join as guru. So such selection also can be done here for what online course, what online I have to select, which method of online, whether it is flipped learning or any other type of online learning, which I am coming afterwards. Now here is one term I want to tell, that is learning management system. That is now online learning, driver learning I have told, many models we told. In online driver learning and all, the teachers, they prepare their own learning management system is a software. So all this software we are not handling, but a software one can make according to your convenience. So I think the coming teacher training program, when Dr. Pushpnadham can keep all these things in mind. When the training program the policies are making, when the syllabus is drafting, when it is a 4-year program, keep a more time for such training for teachers. How to prepare a software. I want to learn about the present position of all the students in my class. I should have a software. Such software are available. See at the side, the picture what is showing here is showing the different software, but more than that, one can prepare software according to our need. For that, we have to be well equipped how this has to be prepared. So where is the center for that? Teacher Training College. So Teacher Training College has to draft an important syllabi so that teachers should be well trained for such technical courses, technical programs. Provide instructor to create and deliver content, monitor student participation. For everything, a software can be made, and this LMS software nowadays even corporates also are using it. It's not only in education system we have blended learning. Corporates also are very well using blended learning. So to access assignments, whether students finish their all assignments, whether they are present, they are taking exams or taken exams, are they collaborating with their peers, are they communicating things with the professors to measure their integrity, honesty. For everything, software can be made. Learning management system software. There are courses via MOOCs, lot of courses for such programs, and the present educators better to join for all this. Can you see my slide?
Yes, yeah.
And you can hear also, know what I talk.
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
All right. All right. Successful blended learning. That is learner-centered approach, not teacher-centered like in the ancient time. Child is a creation of God. And I say, if you spoil a child, I used to tell to my teacher, pupil teachers, if you spoil one child, you are answerable one day, eternity. That is very, very important. But in a corporate, if you spoil one file, throw it out. Buy another file and keep in the place. This you cannot do in an education system. Every child is so important. So that is learner-centered approach, focus on pedagogy. Everybody knows that. But pedagogy, when you say, not the ready-made pedagogies. There also I can give an example. When I was in the training college, I started using a pedagogy with mobile laboratory for community deprived students, especially these immigrants children who are not going to school. In the BMC school, hardly students come, attendance is so poor. But my few students who were very energetic, I never forced. I said, it is a two-way process. You will learn how to teach science experiments because my my graduation, post-graduation is in science. And they used to take experimental, simple things, very simple, hands-on experiment. They go after the college to the community. And those children, I tell you that they are all present every day. Hands-on experiment with the microscope, they used to show things, and simple experimental procedures with test tube. Holding a test tube, the enthusiasm of the children on the face we can see. That is the importance of hands-on experiment. Choose technology carefully, as I have told you. We may have enough technology, but the success depends upon the efficiency and handling of the educator, who is the greatest person in this changed pandemic situation. Remember the curriculum, not anything doing. Remember the curriculum, create detailed plan. Discussion we need. Okay, principles supporting BL, I will read out fast. Open communication, critical reflection, community sense, purposeful inquiry, sustained collaboration, inquiry to resolution, assessment on learning outcome. I have just read because we have to discuss as time goes. Benefits of blended learning. collaboration, increased flexibility. Each word needs explanation, I know that, but our time also I'm keeping in mind. Increased interaction, enhanced learning and retention, virtual citizens, reduction in cost. Disadvantage is also there, technology challenge, teachers overwork, cognitive load more for students, strong dependence on technology. Evaluation factors, delivery patterns, how a teacher delivers. There is no meaning telling that I am nowadays using digital platform for classroom teaching. Just telling that is of no use. But how effectively and efficiently you are doing, that matters. Material and media used, pedagogical model used, synchronous and asynchronous method. We have to explain. Just now, Dr. Pushpnadham rightly said, we use these words, but what is that synchronous? What is asynchronous? This we will discuss as we go ahead in our discussion. Now here is a term, blended teacher as bricolier. Bricolier is a term I am reading first time. Though I am so much experienced person, I looked here and there. I didn't see the word in the old dictionary which I have. And what is the meaning? A blended teacher should be a bricolier. The meaning is she should be or he should be one who creates from a diverse range of materials and tools, things which are available, using the available things. In simple language, if I say, whatever is available in your institution, never grumble. Principal, I don't have this. Management, make this, do that, do this. Grumbling will not help us. With what is availability, what best you can do, you are a good teacher. You should bring up with that attitude. Instructional methods for effective blended learning. See, blended learning has offline and online method of teaching. Now, in online method of teaching, there are many different types of online methods. Not only this, I have kept 5, many other types are also there. Machine learning. Now, let's come to synchronous and asynchronous learning. Synchronous learning is the usual type of learning which we are now going on, this Zoom learning, Google Meet learning. They are all synchronous learning. In that, whereas in that, student and the teacher seeing face to face, expressions, but not physically they are not, but through the technology they are seeing on the spot, the reaction answers can be given, and accordingly the response comes from the teacher. Whereas in asynchronous learning, a child can learn from anywhere, anytime, anyone can learn. That is asynchronous. That may be a recorded content. Child may be somewhere else. He may not be free in the classroom time, but he can learn anywhere. The 3 A's, remember, anywhere, anytime can be learned. That is asynchronous. Both has positive and negative effect. Flipped learning. That is another very important type of learning in which we are giving training, promoting metacognition of a child. I know metacognition is learning how to learn, and that in later is effective becoming a lifelong learner training. When we give learning how to learn, lifelong learning effect we are giving to the children unknowingly during the course of their education. And in flipped learning, we give the students the topic, learning is by themselves. That is why I said it will promote metacognition. They complete reading and all information about the topic, and they will come back to the class with the teacher for further activity related areas. Machine learning, deep learning, and immersion learning. Each one, I think we need to discuss all these, each one separately. Yeah, we will discuss that. This is just, I have kept one synchronous, one photograph, picture I have seen, blended learning, synchronous and asynchronous. Both are equally needed for effective teaching learning process. A flipped learning also diagrammatic representation. By looking, all the dark blue things which are shown are self-learning, that is via MOOC. It can be. I'm sure you know the full of MOOC is massive open online course. And MOOC is successfully doing a lot of blended learning program. And Athabasca University of Canada, last April, a 1-month program they have conducted. I have attended it. That day only I got information about and the importance of this blended learning. And that is why I have written to Madam to make such a session. So through MOOCs, a lot of blended learning activities are going on. Here in this picture, you see classroom. Classroom will do only discussion, practice, simulations, test, content discussions. Many activities are doing, and that is why I told flip learning help in metacognitive learning. Future, it will help in lifelong learning. So that is self-learning by MOOC. Best practices for blended learning. What is the blend? Or in other words, capacity building. Who has to build the capacity? The teachers, the educators. They have to build their capacity. For that, different types of methods can be included. Example, I put quizzes, games. Gamification is now a very important type of blended learning. And gamification is mainly, and children love to play. And through play, that is gamification, through play, they blend many activities, role play, mobile learning, webinars, video tutorials, robust LMS preparation, as I told, that softwares can be prepared, but internet using. But all these, who will teach the pupil teachers? It is the responsibility of the teacher training college for future training of the teachers. Teachers they should be out from their comfort zone. Everybody, please don't go for teaching profession with a focus on the technology application, with a new mindset. Spark curiosity among the students, nurture creativity among the students, and build confidence in them. Let any pandemic come, corona or the variant of that, or whatever it be, I am confident that I will proceed forward with my activities. So curiosity, creativity, those 3 C's, teacher educators, keep it in mind that you have to spark it in the heart of the child. Now I want to discuss, bring forward about the UGC proposal and blended learning. All must have ready that UGC proposed 40% of the course is to be taught online and 60% through traditional offline methods. As just now we heard Dr. Gilbert, he has rightly said that in his university also, Tuesday, Wednesday, they are meeting, though it is with mask and all, the direct look of a child, that matters for a child. That has an effect. Nothing can replace that. The physical person-to-person contact, nothing can replace. UGC, though they told 40 and 60%, yet that percentage we can change depending upon our content. Our content, sometimes certain contents need more offline methods than online method, and certain content need more online method.
Yeah, please bear, there is some
Learning.
technical problem, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're audible now, madam. Continue.
Continue? Okay.
Yeah.
Time management, flexibility. If not hearing, please let me know, because yeah. So all these UGC can propose all these things, but who is doing the action plan? Who will do it sincerely? Who are the teacher educators? Our role, teacher educators' role is tremendous. No one else is taking such a big responsibility in this pandemic situation. Education, nobody can replace that with none other things. So dedicated teachers must. Leads to 3 cardinal principles of education. That is what UGC says. Blended learning leads to 3 cardinal principles. 1, access. 2, equity. And 3rd, equality. As Dr. Pushpnadham just now said, education for all. That is our motto. SDG 4, how it is related to SDG, UN SDG 4. As we all know, UN SDG, there are 17 points given. And as I was going through, all these 17 points are interlinked, and the root of all this is education. Education, if it is there, we know it. Education is the panacea for all success, social, philosophical, or economic. For every progress of the country, education is a must. Even gender equality, that is also a serious problem now. For everything, education is the base. So UN SDG 4, though we call it as SDG 4, SDG 5 is education for gender equality. Everything, all 17 are linked. We cannot, there is not separate compartmentalization between each SDG. Ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. That is SDG 4. Now, how it will affect this? And blended learning is an ideal instructional strategy. Not only for SDG 4 of Sustainable Development Goal of UN, it is for SDG 5 also, for gender equality, for all 17, education can be incorporated to come out in successful flying colors. Develop a sustainability boost through blended learning. Teachers must see, educators that this sustainability word is so important. It has to be incorporated in the child's heart for our future generation. Gain skill and experience lead to develop sustainable mindset, integrate sustainability principles into practice. That is SDG 4, we can very well incorporate with blended learning, because blended learning has all type of activities. It is considering every child, every individual matters in blended child, provided we do blended learning in the right way. We take it forward in the right way. Even in the national education policy, they are expecting high education system now become Indian education system will be at global level, provided it has to be taken forward in the right path. Now, in conclusion, blended learning benefits to students, organization, and employees. Vibrant higher education strategy, thus the quality of education will improve, and we can further look forward for quality global citizens in our country, learning exciting, enriching, and technology driven activities during blended learning, and many more. So let us think about blended learning. In spite of all these catastrophes that has come, yet we educators, we will succeed. And we look forward for a new Bharat, a new India, with all, everybody, education for all, and that too with quality education that is inclusive of everybody. Now, I towards the end, I want to tell one quote of Donald Norman. I am not a fan of technology. I am not a fan of technology. I am a fan of pedagogy, of understanding how people learn and the most effective learning methods. But technology enables me some exciting changes. I hope you liked that quote. Let us be good pedagogy application and make blended learning a successful effort in our education system. Thank you all very much. And there is a caricature, a cartoon drawing.
Thank you, Dr. Saramma, for a very extensive presentation about technology, pedagogy, and the fine blending of these two for promoting learning, and the learning within the context of equity, access, and quality. You know, she made her presentation and make us to understand the concept of blended in a very, very simple manner. She said the blended learning is a learning which is the mix of many important components that enables the learner to engage into the learning process more effectively. She talked about the time, space, personnel. She talked about the audio, video. She talked about the different approaches of demonstration, hand-on experience, gamifications. So the basic idea is to create a kind of an environment that is conducive for every individual to learn. Friends, we have been talking about individual differences. We know that every learner is unique. They have their ways of learning styles. But the blended learning, which actually gives an opportunity for educator to create that kind of context in which every learner learns at their own pace. Of course, she rightly said, blended learning is not combining your pedagogy and your technology. But there are a host of factors which are involved. Whether you talk about the digital safety, thereby you talk about ethics and etiquettes of using technology. And you also need to have technology transfer, teacher competencies. And finally, she said, if you really want to implement this, you need to come out of your comfort zones. And unless and until teachers come out of the comfort zones and make use of the developments, you cannot really bring the changes that you are actually anticipating. So friends, what we'll do is we'll continue with the next presentation.
Hello.
And then, yes, Dr. Saramma, you want to say?
Yeah, last slide, it was connection was gone.
Yeah, we could see that. We could see that.
Let me show the last one. Cartoon slide is also there.
Yes, ma'am, we saw that.
We could see that, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we have seen that. Yes, ma'am.
And one quote also was there, you could see.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could see it, so because my connection is lost, and that is why.
Ma'am, we could see that, yeah.
I am very
really nice. Yes, ma'am.
I am very sorry.
Got the message. Yes, ma'am.
There I want to say, there is a book. There is a book by name, that who will teach zebra algebra. Have you read?
Yeah, we will take up this later. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, friends, we have the another practitioner. You know, usually we talk about higher education as at the ivory tower. But today we have a practitioner who actually apply the blended learning concept into the classroom practice. And then she is here to share her experience as educator and also the perspectives of the learners when they are actually experiencing digital learning, blended learning in their classrooms. So may I invite Dr. Vagmita Tyagi to make your presentation. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. And wonderful good evening to everyone. I am actually feeling like a newbie in this galaxy of intellectuals. It is such an honor, and I am totally overwhelmed to be a part of such profound, exceptionally talented, wonderful intellectual people out there. Won't take much of your time. I'll be straight away starting with the presentation, in which there are certain practical applications that we have taken up in our school, and if you permit, I would definitely share this thing with you. I hope the screen is visible, sir.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay.
Yes,
so this we are going to be talking about the flipped classroom, the flipped learning and practical implementation. Though the 90% of my job was already done when Saramma ma'am actually, she talked wonderfully well about the technological aspects of the terminology, the nomenclature, and she has wonderfully explained. So the presentation is basically going to be dealing with the practical implementation of flipped learning. As quoted by Brain Bennett, the flipped classroom isn't a methodology, it's an ideology. And we truly believe that, so we shall proceed with this quote in mind. So teaching as goes, teaching is one of the instruments of education, and its special function is to impart understanding and skill. The main function of teaching is to make learning effective. And as we all know, India has been bestowed with the title of Vishwa Guru. The teaching learning practices have come a long way from ancient times when everything was taught through verbal inputs to introducing on Bhojpatra. Now, as we talk about education policy, we talk about making India come at par with the world. we should feel proud that we have always led the world from front. We have always been leading in the field of education. It is just that we need to regain our strength and get the glory back. Please don't paint flipped teaching ideas and techniques with a black and white brush. They are clearly more nuanced than that. And it is not about chalk and duster, it is much beyond than that. So, as we talk about the COVID-19, the pandemic, as we have been all talking about, the world came to a standstill when COVID-19 gave a massive hit to planet Earth. It was not just one sector that was brutally hit, but the whole world was shaken up, and education sector was no exception to it. But as they say, life finds its way, and so did education. With no option left, the teachers immediately shifted to online mode of teaching. This was definitely a revolutionary step, and the world welcomed this change with open arms. Online teaching became a common household name, as now, along with teachers, the parents were fully involved too. But it simply did not mean to teach the text and get the task done. Teaching does not re-evolve around syllabus completion, but it is far beyond than that. It is a continuous ascent from remembering to creating, following the Bloom's taxonomy and also making the students understand their perspective. Now, when I talk about the Bloom's taxonomy, we all know that it flows from the grassroots level of remembering to creating. As all my learned members can see, that it is basically like the food chain that we basically talk in biology. So the food chain says that the producers are at the massive level, and as we go to the higher level, this graph gradually decreases. So the same thing is over here. When we talk about remembering, understanding, applying, you can see the broad horizons. But when it comes to evaluating and creating, the domain gets slightly shrinked up. So what we feel is that with this blended mode of learning and the higher order thinking skills, will definitely find more aspects and horizons to explain. As quoted by John Hall, learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of learners. So as a teacher, as an educator, what I have taught counts up to a certain limit. But what my student has absorbed, has applied, has analyzed, has created counts more than what I have taught. So the regular classroom teaching practice is that the teacher delivers new learning to the student face to face. That was happening pre-pandemic classes. Students listen, they interact, take notes, and consolidated new learning, new knowledge during homework, or follow-up tasks. So this was the regular framework of the classroom that we have always been following. Now, when we talk about the flipped classroom, the students do the basic learning prior to working with the teacher. They cover the applied learning and any problems in class. Students access a teacher-created website, or maybe, the students are really smart enough, they create their own websites nowadays, and they watch teacher-created sourced videos on their devices. As told by Saramma Chandy ma'am about the synchronous and asynchronous aspects of flipped learning. They're able to stop, rewind the information as often as they need until they understand the concept. There is less passive learning in class and more active and personalized learning. Class time is freed up for. Now, this is what we are going to be concentrating more on. We have been talking about the advantages, the disadvantages, but the basic advantages, the freed up time that can be utilized for student-centered learning activities, inquiry-based learning, project-based learning, the collaborative work that children come up to, and teacher-assisted learning. Because we all know that, the teacher, she needs to be understanding, she needs to be taking care of children who want to apply this knowledge. So assessment is required. And more importantly, when we talk about the life skills, because we have been following the implementation of life skill. When we talk about technology, wonderful aspect, good going. Even according to the new education policy, it says we are really thankful to the policy makers who have introduced artificial intelligence as one of the skill subjects from class 6 onwards. Is definitely an appreciable step. But with technology comes the humane aspect, and that can only happen when we will be having life skills incorporated learning. So these are the life skills that we incorporate. I would just read out them to you. That talks about self-awareness, self-management, the difference between empathy and sympathy. We need to, and we are definitely following that. From sympathetic point of view, we have shifted our point to empathetic point of view. From problem solving and decision making to interpersonal relationships, because COVID-19 has taught us what social distancing is. And that is why this terminology came into existence, that are we really inclined to go for social distancing, or should we be inclined towards physical distancing and remain socially connected? So interpersonal relationships play a very, very important role in building up in the foster years of child, because whatever skill the child is going to absorb in the foster years, that is going to shape up the personality. Accepting criticism, this is one of the major reasons that children fail at certain point of time and go under depression, when they are unable to accept criticism. So as an educator, it is our role, it is our duty to teach accept criticism in a positive manner. Stress management, thinking and creativity. Creativity, as I just told you about the Bloom's taxonomy, it is the highest order of thinking skill, and that is what needs to be incorporated rather than rote learning. It is not the time when the teacher is holding a ruler, beating a child and making the child learn 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6, 2 fours are 8. No, we have gone far, far, far beyond that. There are different ways and methods for multiplication, analyzing. And I would just here like to emphasize that Gargi takes this up in the form of sports integrated learning, where we have taken peg cards along with teaching of mathematics subject, communication and collaboration. So without communication, without collaboration, things don't work out. And this is again very important during the time of technological communication, because what is said may differ from what is interpreted. So communication has to be very, very balanced, and all these things need to be taken up in blend with technology. So here I would like to share what we have actually practically implemented. With due permission from everybody, as you can see on the slide, I have mentioned the links and also the subjects in which we have incorporated. So the first video is about food production, and very proudly I say that with new education policy that talks about skill subjects, we already have n number of skill subjects that we offer to our students. So with due permission, I would just like to share, I wouldn't be sharing all the videos because that is going to be very time consuming. So the first video, that is food production. The students have taken this up, made the video, and they have incorporated and worked upon it. So I want all of you to please kindly have a look on the video, and just with a technical hit.
Dr. Vagmita, sound is not coming.
Sound, I think so, sir. Sound would be a problem.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming now.
Right. Sir, as all of you honorable members, I would just like to emphasize on one thing over here. As you had seen that there was a dish that was with the name khapsi. Um,
Yeah.
Sir and ma'am, I would just like to emphasize on this part specifically. We'll shift to the next video. Khapsi is a traditional dish that is a traditional dish of Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh. So according to CBSE, we had been given art integrated learning where we were supposed to pick up the topics, the cuisines, the dishes. So the home science children, the food production, the children who have opted for that, they incorporated and they made this special dish khapsi with the topic and the subject that they had. So again, what I feel is that the children have come up wonderfully well, and they have actually taken this up in a very, very profound manner. So I think so this screen sharing is on, and would like to make all of you see very quickly the commerce stream. We all know Modi ji, our honorable Prime Minister, talking about I don't know. There's some technical hitch. I don't think so. I'll be able to make you see this. But what I would like to tell about this particular thing over here is that when Modi ji was talking about vocal for local, so the commerce department with their teacher and we all of us you took it up, and Gargi has a company that is run with the name Pehel, where the students prepare their own products, they market it up, the raw materials are taken up, the designing is done by the humanities students, the commerce students, they prepare, the whole balance sheet and everything. The science students, they have been, the stream wise bifurcation has been done. So when Modi ji came up with this idea, vocal for local, before we could come up with something, the students took up this initiative. So this is what is happening, that the leash basically is taken care and given in the students' hand. So when the students are taking up these activities, we are actually able to deliver what they feel, and they are doing it wonderfully well. The next video is about the fashion technology. This again is a very, very important thing that was taken up by the students, because pandemic hit very badly, and when pandemic hit very badly, the masks were something that were the need of the hour. So the fashion technology students, they started manufacturing masks at home, and not only simple mask but the designer masks. So this was just a glimpse of the things that we have been doing by incorporating the blended mode of learning. And there was a certain reason, honorable members, for sharing these videos. And the reason was that all these links, I have taken it up from my official Facebook page account, which tells that this is something that we have been doing for passed quite a long time, specifically when pandemic was at the peak and there was a requirement of involving students all together because there was no face-to-face communication, right? And at a point of time, even the webness, even the online mode of teaching, where only the teacher is giving a lecture and every child is at the recipient end, everything becomes boring. So to make it interactive, to involve the students, it is very, very important that we incorporated all the things integrated with art integrated learning, and it came out wonderfully well. It not only helped us to make the students more interactive, but also made them more innovative. As you can see, a simple subject like fashion technology, where students must have done something when they would have been in the school, but the teacher actually made them work at home and come up with an idea. And the mask that was considered as a taboo, the people were not wearing masks. There was many of them said, we are feeling suffocating, we don't want to wear the mask, how boring it is to wear the mask. So we were so happy that the girls innovated it in a very beautiful manner, and the masks became a big hit. We started getting people from outside that, ma'am, in case you can provide us these wonderful masks that actually stand out from the raw thing. Not only that, sir, what I feel basically is the involvement of the students, as ma'am said about LMS, the learning mechanism. So by God's grace, I am an observer of one of the projects that CBSE has taken up, Innovative Ambassadors. So this Innovative Ambassador basically talks about the image acts. We are working with AICTE in collaboration with AICTE. So right now, the training is going on for the teachers, and very soon we'll be taking up it for the students. So here what I feel is that when we're making the teachers learn about design thinking, so at the same time, when it is just a lecture mode is going on, so the interactive session is not there, the students or the teachers, they feel left out. At the same time, when the presenter involves the students and asks them to present their views, or it becomes more interactive, the things definitely go up and step up to the next level. So this was all from my side, talking about the practical implementation, because nomenclature, we all know, I mean, we are all so wonderful people, but this is what I wanted to share my part, that yes, we are taking it up in schools, this blended mode of learning. I would have loved to show you all my videos, but I'm so sorry. I know time constraints are there. We have question answer round, which everybody would be waiting out for interactive session. But in case if all my wonderful academic family out there, in case if you can go and visit our official Facebook page, you can see how beautifully we have tried to implement this blended mode of teaching learning, where we are nowhere to be seen. It is only the faces of the students that you'll be seeing. Even the editing, the reviewing, and the technical hold is being taken up and taken care by the students themselves. Thank you so much for giving me such precious time. I am extremely thankful to Hemlata ma'am for actually trusting and believing. I don't know how much justice I was able to do to this wonderful platform, but definitely it was an honor. Thank you, Dr. Pushpnadham. It was wonderful interacting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Vagmita. Nicely presented your ideas. It is actually the blending of theory and the practice. You have seen the smiles on the faces of children when they are actually applying the blended mode, experiential learning. And you believe that such experiential learning can really enhance their learning outcomes, and also it makes the entire teaching learning process more joyful and meaningful.